step into the arena of minds. On this channel, every move is a clash of strategy, every sacrifice a turning point, and every game a battle for glory. Watch two players push the limits of creativity and calculation as we bring you the drama, suspense, and excitement of chess like never before. Wesley opens with d4, a confident stride into the center, declaring early control like a general planting his flag on the battlefield. Murtas responds with d5. Solid, symmetrical, the Kazakh wall rises to meet the challenge head-on. Wesley thrusts c4 forward. An immediate strike on the heart of Black's pawn chain, a bold invitation to chaos. Murtas calmly replies chicks. The Slav defense emerges, sturdy and precise, a fortress in the making. Wesley develops his knight to c3. Reinforcements arrive. The White Army gathers momentum for central domination. Murtas brings out his knight to f6, a mirror of balance, eyes locked on the d5 pawn like a hawk circling its prey. Wesley plays e3, quiet but deadly, preparing to unleash his bishop while sealing the pawn structure tight. Murtas replies with a6, a curious move, subtle preparation for a queenside push, the calm before the storm. Wesley brings the knight to f3, coordination in motion, the white pieces dance toward harmony. Murtas advances b5, aggression from the Kazakh side. The flank pawns roar forward to seize space. Wesley answers with b3, a flexible reply, ready to strike the center or fianchetto the bishop like a hidden archer. Murtas develops the bishop to g4, a pin emerges, dark intentions revealed on the f3 knight. Wesley pushes h3, back off. He says, chasing away the intruder with a flick of his pawn. Murtas captures bx f3. The bishop trades its life for structural damage, leaving white with a decision to make. Wesley recaptures qs f3. No hesitation. The queen takes over the defense, turning the pin into open firepower. Murtas calmly plays a6. Reinforcing the center, preparing the light-squared bishop for future duties. Wesley places bd3, elegant development, the bishop eyes the king side, sensing future tension. Murtas answers nbd7, the knights coordinate forming a defensive wall that's hard to crack. Wesley castles, safety achieved. The white king hides behind his pawns, ready for battle. Murtas plays b7, standard and safe, a sign that he's ready to castle soon. Wesley activates bb2. The bishop now gleams along the long diagonal, pressure brewing toward the enemy king. Murtas castles. The king tucks away, calm before potential warfare. Wesley brings Racon. Centralization begins, both rooks preparing to storm the open files. Murtas places his queen on a5, a menacing look toward c3 and a2, like a sniper finding a target. Wesley counters with rc2, cool defense, doubling plans already forming in his mind. Murtas aligns, Rabite, the queenside tension builds, rooks ready for pawn storms and trades. Wesley strikes cx e5, first blood on the queen side, The pawn trade opens critical lines. Murtas recaptures cxd5. Equilibrium restored, but the board grows sharper with every exchange. Wesley doubles rooks with RF cone. The pressure rises. White's coordination screams danger. Murtas answers b3. A surprising shot. The bishop lunges deep into enemy lines, slicing diagonals like a dagger. Wesley accepts the challenge, bx3. No fear, he removes the invader without hesitation. Murtas takes back with qx3. Queen activity. The black queen invades enemy territory. Wesley moves en bone. Retreat or reposition? He's preparing to dance that knight to key squares later. Murtas drops the queen to a5, regaining flexibility, eyes now darting across both flanks. Wesley fires qg3. A sudden shift. The attack may swing to the king's side. Tension electrifies the air. Murtas defends with rfd8, regrouping, reinforcing the core of his structure. Wesley advances a3, a quiet pawn move, but it pushes back the queen's control, freeing the rook lines. Murtas retreats qb6, keeping the queen safe, repositioning for defense and counterattack. Wesley doubles heavy artillery with r6, an engine of destruction forming on the c-file, ready to explode. Murtas replies qb7, cool-headed defense. The black queen stands firm to block the storm. Wesley responds qe7, a trade invitation cloaked in pressure. White's dominance grows. Murtas agrees qx7, exchanges queens to ease the tension, hoping for relief. Wesley recaptures rxe7. White's rooks now command the board, shining like twin cannons. Murtas strikes back with f5, an aggressive thrust, shaking the ground beneath both kings. Wesley calmly nd2. The knight repositions, preparing to blockade or strike. Murtas keeps pushing e4, bold and dangerous. Black opens fire in the center, refusing to back down. Wesley slides b4. Retreat with intent, the bishop now guarding key diagonals. Murtas jumps nb6. The knight seeks activity, eyeing the c4 and a4 squares like a predator. Wesley reinforces rook x6, doubling rooks on the 6th rank, the pressure unbearable, the position ready to explode. Murtas plays nfd7, pulling his knight back, a quiet defensive regroup as the tension builds across the board. Wesley responds en bone, a crafty retreat, preparing to recycle the knight through better routes for domination. Murtas aligns rb8, doubling rooks, building a steel wall on the c-file for counterplay. Wesley jumps nc3. His knight returns to the front lines, reinforcing his grip on key central squares. Murtas trades ix7. One rook goes down in flames, hoping to relieve the immense pressure. Wesley recaptures rxe7. Calm and ruthless, his rook remains a thunderbolt of control on the 7th rank. Murtas steps kite. The black king edges towards safety, dreaming of an endgame that may never come. Wesley plants re7, Invading deeper, the rook slices into enemy territory like a silent predator. Murtas retreats Nabite. The knight cowers, repositioning defensively to cover critical entry squares. Wesley pushes a4. A pawn storm erupts on the queen side. The avalanche cannot be stopped. Murtas brings h8. The last rook stands tall, ready to contest the open file with defiance. Wesley repositions ab7. The heavy artillery swings sideways, probing for new targets and angles. Murtas captures t3, sacrificing activity for relief, trying to break free of the chokehold. Wesley strikes back Ark's bite. A crushing blow, rook check, and material gain all in one shot. Murtas blocks n8. The knight steps in to defend, but its position is passive and grim. Wesley continues xb5, detonating the queenside, opening new files for the attack. Murtas recaptures xb5, keeping the balance for now, but the structure crumbles slowly. Wesley deploys bc4. The bishop enters like a sniper, eyeing the enemy's weak spots. Murtas plays g6, a pawn thrust for air, though every push opens new wounds. Wesley captures bxt5. The bishop strikes cleanly, eliminating a central defender. Murtas replies in xd5. He must take back, or the center collapses completely. Wesley restores order with rxd5. The rook seizes control again, dominating the open lines. Murtas responds rxb3. Finally a counterpunch, snatching a pawn to stay alive. Wesley pushes g4. Pawns march forward. The king's side begins to burn. Murtas shields with f6, building a fragile wall to protect his exposed monarch. Wesley brings d7. The rook invades the 7th rank, a classic killer position. Murtas lifts h6, a breathing move, but weakness creeps closer to his king. Wesley slides r7. Surgical precision, the rook eyes the h-file with deadly intent. Murtas counters rb5, trying to distract white with counterplay on the 5th rank. Wesley smashes rxx6, ruthless execution. The rook devours the pawn and shatters the defense. Murtas flees kg7. The king runs for his life, but danger shadows every step. Wesley calmly r4, a quiet regroup, preparing the next wave of attack. Murtas activates rb2, hunting for counterplay, though his rook is miles from home. Wesley advances g5. The pawn storm resumes, tearing through the black fortress. Murtas replies 5, clinging to resistance, but his walls are collapsing fast. Wesley marches kj-t2. The white king joins the fight, confidently walking into the fray. Murtas holds with re2, setting up a defensive barricade, trying to hold the last line. Wesley plays r4. Teamwork in motion, rook and king align for the final push. Murtas centralizes kf7. His monarch steps forward, desperate to coordinate defense. Wesley brings kf4, careful maneuvering, setting up the final stage of the endgame. Murtas lifts rd2. His rook hunts for activity, but the position remains dire. Wesley replies A4. Relentless, the rook swings again to pressure the weakened kingside. Murtas checks K7. He shuffles, but the end is near. White's grip is iron. Wesley repositions R6. The rook stalks the king like a hawk over prey. Murtas pushes forward. Last desperate counter, but it's too little, too late. Wesley answers ARE4. Calm and decisive, the rook maintains control and awaits the final blow. Murtas pushes F3. His pawn races down, but salvation is a dream slipping away. Wesley simply plays Kazhgaleyev. The final move, serene and lethal. Wesley's position is unbreakable. Black resigns. Murtas extends his hand. The battle is over. The Filipino genius, Wesley So, claims victory in brilliant style. The board falls silent. Another masterpiece of precision, patience, and power ends with a triumphant 1-0. That's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to bring you even more exciting chess games. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.